Welcome to Freight Logistics Hub podcast, where we discuss historical developments of freight logistics in Kenya and East Africa. I'm your host, George Kidenda. Today, I'm glad to bring to you again another old friend for many years. A man that I've known for, I would say, since 1985. We are going almost 30 to 40 years.
40 years.
40 years now. Jamal Bayusuf is the gentleman that we are discussing with today, and I'd like him to just introduce to us who Bayusuf brothers are. How did they come to be such a big influence in transport in East Africa? Brother Jamal.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kidenda. As Mr. Kidenda told you, I knew Mr. Kidenda since 1985 when I was a very young man. I used to go look for work in a Signal.
Yes.
He was the MD at Signal, and I really appreciate he welcomed me. I was a very young boy, and he really respected me, and I really respect him until today. I really thank him. We have worked together with Signal Freight. Okay. At that time, we were Bayusuf brothers.
Okay.
But before that, Bayusuf brothers is a second company. Before that, we used to have a company called Saleh Bayusuf and Brother in Garissa, in the northeastern, in the early 50s. So we used to work with Shell, Kenya Shell at that time, with my father in Garissa and my uncle in Mombasa. And we continued like that. And then my other uncle called M.A. Bayusuf, Mohammed Bayusuf, joined with them. And they formed a company in Mombasa called Bayusuf Brothers. That was in the early 60s. But with Shell, we started in the late 50s, working with Shell.
Okay. You have also been involved in quite a number of large projects. Apart from just moving petroleum products, you have been involved in capital projects. Which of those projects do you recall and was the most challenging?
The biggest one was the geothermal Naivasha one.
Yes.
We transported a lot of equipment to Naivasha. And the building of the SGR, the SGR, which was our competitor, but we still work for them.
Yeah.
We did about 10,000 tons of containers and steel structures and a lot of them. Also, we have worked a lot for World Food Program.
Yes.
For many years, for the last almost 40 years now.
Okay.
And still we are continuing with them. And our main work, at that time we were doing about 70% general cargo.
Yes.
And 30% of fuel, the lubricant and the fuel. But in another 10, 15 years now, we are almost opposite now. We're working 70% petroleum and lubricant, and the other ones we are doing general cargo, 30%.
Project cargo is normally very good for companies like yours.
Yes.
What has been the main challenges of late? Why is it that you are transitioning more back to petroleum and less of general cargo?
You know, you have to think about the future. You see, we heard about the rail coming in. So we were a little bit worried. So that's why we diverted, and also at that time when we were doing petroleum, it was very safe. And with companies like Shell and Total, they pay well, and you get your money in the end of the month. At least you can. But you see, with the other general cargo, it takes time. Sometimes you are paid after 2 months, after 3 months.
Okay.
So the petroleum company, they help us a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So East Africa community tells us that we are one, that our borders are now Can, for the lack of a better word, porous. We can be able to move without hesitation. Is that the experience currently? Have things improved?
They have improved.
Okay.
I cannot. Have improved, but not the way the government is talking about that one stop the border. It takes a little bit of time, but it is better than before.
Okay.
It is better than before. We cannot complain. We are.
What would you say are the major challenges that you're facing at the border today?
I cannot. You see, when you work with big companies like Shell and Total, or you work with the World Food Program or these other people, you don't get a lot of problem.
Okay.
Unless you're working with the small people, you get. But we are okay. I cannot complain.
Okay.
We are working okay.
One of the things that has challenged African businesses is how to run a family business. We find many people start companies. They don't have a succession plan. The children do not get involved. And therefore you find that the father had a good idea, he set up a good company, but in the second and third generation, there's no continuity. How has Bayusuf brothers succeeded in managing the transitions and succession plans?
You are right. A lot of companies have gone down because of this. They've got no plan. But really, I really am really very. I really am very happy the way my father brought us up, and we had worked. I've worked with my father since 1981 when I started working here, and he keeps on giving me ideas, keeps on calling me. And I remember once when my father and my uncle, we were talking, and one thing they told me, look, Jamal, people make mistake. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. Don't be
afraid to make a
but
mistake.
Don't repeat it. Don't repeat it.
Don't repeat it.
So I'm very grateful to my father and my uncle. They brought us up with the idea that this company belongs to you. It's not that you are working, it belongs to you, and it belongs to your other children who are coming.
Yes.
So togetherness. We were brought up together, me and my brother, my MD Hassan, my younger brother Abdul Halim, and my step brothers. The other ones, we are still together here.
Okay.
So after my father, we took over, and my father trusted in us that he retired before he died.
Okay.
He retired 10 years before he died, and he left the work with us. He was very sure that we can run the company.
So it is important for parents
Yes,
to engage their children at a younger age.
Very important.
How early in age were you involved in the company?
And I was since I was in school,
Okay.
since I was in a primary school.
Okay.
Yes, we used to come on Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
This was our place of play.
Okay.
We never used to play outside.
Okay.
Saturday, Sunday, we used to come to work here.
So what kind of assignments were you getting as a small boy, maybe in high school? What kind of assignments did you get when you got here?
No, you see, when you come here, you stay with your father or you stay with your uncle, and you listen to what they are talking, what they are doing, and then you get the idea from there.
Okay.
So I know when I started here after finishing my school, I started working here in 1981 when I was officially employed here. Officially, I was taken to the stores as a store clerk.
Okay.
To give out spares and this one, and I was very happy. I was happy. It's not that my father took me to an office in air condition. No, I was working down there.
Yes.
I worked there for maybe 2 years as a storekeeper, and then I went to the workshop, and I worked in the workshop department for almost about 2 years, and then I worked in the transport department. And then I worked as a road patrol manager.
Okay.
So I knew everywhere in Kenya. I've been, and I went around. So that is where.
Again, let's go back to projects. One of the most expensive parts of transportation is transport companies is the investment that goes into having those heavy load equipment.
Yes.
Yeah. How have you catered for your heavy load equipment when you handle projects like you've recently handled the railways and the geothermal projects? How do you cater for the heavy lift equipment? How do you source them? Do you, in other words, do you own them or do you hire them? Because I think they are also very high cost. Yeah.
No, those ones we own them.
Okay.
We own them. Yeah. You see, when to hire something, it means that you are not reliable, and whenever sometimes when you cannot get them, they already know. So we have our own equipment.
Okay.
We have our own low loaders, low beds. We have our own cranes. We have our own. So everything here we own. We don't hire anything from outside.
So what is the heaviest load that you can move?
I think the heaviest load we loaded at that time was about 105 tons.
105 tons.
This was to Masinga Dam.
Okay.
It was in 1988, 89 at that time.
How many wheels? How many wheels do you have on that?
Yeah, it was about is it 12 wheeler?
12
yes,
wheeler.
It was with the low,
very low.
Very low, yes.
Okay.
With the what they are called hey man, called what the road
Yes.
the small one.
The small.
No. Pneumatic, and the another name for them was called something.
We will remember. But of course, the point we are making is that for anyone who's trying to engage in projects, you must have the right equipment.
Yes, but
you must be ready to do it, because without it, again,
yes,
failures are bound to take place.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which says that our borders will be free. And that, I think, would touch on the infrastructure. Do you think East Africa is ready for the Africa Continental Free Trade Area in terms of road infrastructure, rail infrastructure, and more particularly, the handling of cargo through the borders?
I have no objection. We are ready. Okay. Africa is ready.
Okay.
We talk the same language.
Okay.
East Africa.
Okay.
We talk the same language. I don't know why we should not have been there 20 years ago.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
But sometimes I hear, like I think last year I was hearing that there were 600 trucks at the border of Kenya and Tanzania that were not moving. And we are in East Africa community. What do you say to such challenges where vehicles are stuck at the border for a week or more?
Yeah, okay. If you can see what happened at that time, maybe it was politics.
Okay.
Or because you don't understand it. 600 trucks in staying at the border for 1 week or 2 weeks, and then almost in 2 days they have gone. It's also it is politics.
It's more politics.
It's more politics than business.
No, I'm very grateful. I see a young man in this room. I'm still going back to succession. When you look at them at this time, you are investing in them. What is your dream for them?
You know, what I'm telling people that my grandfather at that time when they started transport from Garissa, the northeastern to Mombasa, they used to walk with the cows, and this one they come to sell in Mombasa.
Yes.
So they used to walk all the way 500 kilometers.
Yes.
And then we started. Our father started with the small trucks, and then we came in with the big trucks. So I think the future for our children is, I think they go by the air cargo. That's our hope.
No, yeah, but what's there to stop them? It's just looking for the opportunity.
It's a very expensive investment.
Yes.
But why not?
Yeah.
They can handle. We have kept trust in them.
Yeah.
Because another 5 years or 10 years, we'll not be here. No, okay, we'll maybe retire, but we are very confident that our children, they will take over.
I think I'd like to push your idea a little bit more.
Okay.
One of the things that Africa needs to think about is the combination of transport. We have the multimodals, but if you look at the history of trade between Africa, and particularly East Africa, and the rest of the world, it has shifted to a great extent from coming from north, from our European conquerors, to now the Chinese and in the Asian continent. And Mombasa, for me, is a port that is very, very strategically situated here by God.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
But one of the options that will be there in the future is for that cargo to come by sea and quickly lifted from Mombasa into West Africa. And
To West Africa.
To West Africa. Because otherwise, it has to go through around the Cape
Okay.
to be able to get there.
Okay.
And if they go to the Red Sea, you know the problems that yeah. So the problems are there. And one of the options that will be there is to have our own airlines, okay, cargo airlines that come and pick it from here and land it in Ouagadougou very quickly in no time.
Yes.
But what must be done is you must be able to coast it there, okay? Yeah. You must be able to coast it in such a way that the cost, okay, is not too high for people to afford. They say normally if it's about 1.5 times, people are willing to pay. If it is going beyond 1.5 times the cost of taking it to the other side, they will not do it. But what they will do, the reason why I'm suggesting this, is you see these guys who are selling to us online. How do they manage to sell to me in my village? And the best, Amazon is not in India, and those are the people. So Africa must be able to look at that logistics, so that the manufacturers from Kenya can land their cargo in other parts of Africa in the least coast. And that will be because Africa has the volume, the fastest growing population, the fastest growing middle class. What's your take?
Okay, my take from this that I think you see the baby, she has to crawl first and then start walking and then start running. You want to start running. You see, we will reach there.
Yes.
You see, what I'm surprised is that Kenya, Mombasa. Mombasa is one of the biggest port in East and Central Africa.
Yes.
Mombasa port. And the Mombasa port serves 5, if I'm not wrong. It's Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, also another part, and Rwanda, and Congo, and South Sudan. So 6 or 7, even Ethiopia now. We are serving Ethiopia now.
Yes.
So it's how much? 8.
Yeah.
8, 7 or 8. So and I'm surprised that still our roads Mombasa, Malaba Road should have been a dual carriageway 20 years ago. 20 years ago.
Yeah.
We're losing a lot of... we're losing the cargo. Okay, the roads are not... we cannot complain now. They're a little bit better. But they were very bad. And 10 years ago, 15 years ago, at least now they're a little... But Mombasa, Malaba should have been dual carriageway 20 years ago.
Okay.
We could have been very far.
What about the lapset?
Huh?
A lapset project.
The lapset.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. It's a good idea. See now, like we have a lot of trucks from Lamu to the border of Ethiopia.
Right.
People are working. Yes, we have. That's a good.
Okay.
You see, with when people talk about the rail,
Yeah.
okay, they are our competitors, really, but it is not fair. You see, like a rail, he can carry about 30 tons of a container which weighs 30 tons or 35 tons,
Yes.
and there's no extra weight, there's nothing. But with us, even if we 100 kilos
Yes.
of this, you are charged. So competition has to be.
So that takes me then to green logistics. Are you talking about green logistics here, where we are talking about conservation of the environment? And a lot of people are saying that we should move away from diesel and things. Are you also investing in electric trucks and the like?
No, okay, they are not available. If they were, then we could have, but I don't think even in Europe, they are still maybe very expensive, and very few people, very few companies run this one.
Okay. I think this is good. I'm very grateful that you have granted us this opportunity to discuss and to know that a company that was started way back in the
50s, in the
1950s, but earlier your grandfather was there. 1911, is it?
1913, 1911, yes.
It's still going on 100 years later on and moving on. It's a big lesson for many of us who are just starting ours. But again, also those who are struggling, that to know that it's not always easy.
Yeah.
There's always time and room for improvement. Bana Jamal, I'm very grateful. I thank you for giving me your time. And viewer, if you have enjoyed this discussion about Bayusuf brothers, how long it has taken them to get to this point, their dreams of going across our borders and getting fully engaged in the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, please comment and share with your friends. If there's any other area that you'd like our friends to answer, we would be happy to get back to them. Otherwise, I'm very grateful. Thank you, Bwana Jamal, for this.
And I'm very grateful, and I'm very, very happy to serve Kenya.
Yes.
And I'm ready to serve Kenya anywhere in this world.
Amen.
I am ready to represent Kenya in anywhere. We love our country.
Yes.
We love Kenya. And Kenya is great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.